Today, we're going to tackle a single sentence that has shaped American liberty for over 200 years. It's the First Amendment. It's a text that both unites and divides us, a promise of freedom that is constantly being argued over and reinterpreted.
So this is it. This is the exact wording that was ratified way back in 1791. And a couple of words really jump out. First, Congress. This was originally aimed squarely at the federal government. And then there's abridging, which just means to cut short or reduce. So these aren't just gentle suggestions, they are hard limits on what the government is allowed to do.
And here is what's just incredible to me. The entire foundation for some of our most fundamental rights is built on just 45 words. That's it, 45. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack the huge power and all the controversy that's packed into this incredibly short text.
So how do you even start to break down those 45 words? Well, even though it's written as one continuous thought, it actually gives us 5 separate but totally connected freedoms, and each one really builds on the others to create like a blueprint for a free society.
Here they are, the 5 pillars we're going to walk through. You can kind of see how they flow, right? From your own personal beliefs, religion, to how you express yourself and share ideas, and then finally, how you can act on those ideas as a group. So, let's start right at the top, just like the amendment does with religion.
Now, the very first freedom mentioned is pretty unique because it's really a 2-for-1 deal. It tackles that complicated relationship between government and faith from 2 different but equally important directions.
On one side, you've got what's called the Establishment Clause. This basically says the government can't create or endorse an official religion for the country. Simple enough. Then, on the other side, you have the Free Exercise Clause, which says the government can't stop you from practicing whatever faith you choose. This is where that famous idea of a separation of church and state comes from. It's like a wall to keep the institutions apart, but a gate to let individual belief flow freely.
Okay, so we've gone from the private world of belief. Now let's move into the public square. How do we share what we think? This is all about expression, and it's not just a right for you as an individual, but it's also a way for us as a people to keep an eye on the powerful.
First up, freedom of speech. Now, we all cherish this right, but it's not a total free-for-all. The Supreme Court has been very clear over the years that it doesn't protect stuff like directly inciting violence or lying about someone to ruin their reputation. The main point, though, is to protect not just the popular ideas, but the deeply unpopular ones from being silenced by the government.
And right alongside that is the freedom of the press. You can pretty much think of this as freedom of speech, but for organizations that are built to spread information. The founders saw an independent press as a kind of fourth estate, a watchdog, really, that was essential for holding our leaders accountable.
All right, these last 2 freedoms are where the rubber really meets the road. They're all about putting your ideas into motion. They're the tools for how regular citizens can get together and demand real change from their government.
So, the right to peaceably assemble. That means you can gather for protests, marches, you name it. But that word, peaceably, is super important. It's been the center of countless legal fights. Then there's the right to petition the government, which means you can complain, you can ask for things to change, all without being afraid of getting punished for it. Put them together, and these are the constitutional tools we have to organize and to challenge power.
Okay, so we've looked at the 5 individual freedoms. Now let's kind of zoom out and look at the history here to see how they all came together to become such a crucial part of the Bill of Rights.
You know what's crazy? The journey from an idea to actual law happened really fast. The amendment was passed by the very first Congress back in 1789, and it was officially ratified by the states only 2 years later. That speed just goes to show you how urgent the founders felt it was to get these specific protections in place right from the get-go.
And its placement, that's no accident. The First Amendment is literally number 1 in the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Putting it right at the top signals just how critical the founders thought these freedoms were. They are the absolute bedrock of the whole system.
So here we are, back at these 45 words. But hopefully, now you can see the brilliant design inside it all. The freedom to believe what you want, the freedom to say and publish those beliefs, and the freedom to get together and demand action based on them. All of it protected from the government, all in one elegant, powerful sentence.
The world has changed a lot since 1791, but these 5 freedoms are still at the very heart of our most passionate debates. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. In our world today, with all of its modern challenges, which one of these 5 freedoms do you think is the most critical?